Welcome back, everyone. The next part of this investigation is to discover if the converse of what we just discovered in the previous conjecture is true. So we are trying to determine if we know the alternate interior angles or the corresponding angles or the alternate exterior angles are congruent, does that mean that we have parallel lines? So in order to do this, we are going to start with a new sketch in GeoGebra. Go ahead and turn off your axes and your grid if they are showing. And we're going to start by creating a line. So create a line AB. The next step is we're going to create another line, line CD. And this line, make it not parallel, or make sure it doesn't appear to be parallel to line AB. Then we are going to create a transversal using your line tool through points A and C. So just as we did in the previous investigation, we want to measure the 8 angles that we have just created. But again, in order to do that on GeoGebra, we need 3 points. So we're going to use our point tool, and we're going to create some more points on these lines. So we're going to create points E, F, G, and H. And we are going to use our angle tool to measure the angles that we have created. So remember, always in counterclockwise order. Go ahead and measure your 8 angles. So once you have your 8 angles measured, your diagram may look very similar to mine, where you can't even read the angle measures. So what you can do so that you can actually read these angle measures is you can use your pointer tool to click and drag on the measurement of the angle so you can see all 8 angle measures. So go ahead and do that. So once you can view all of your angle measures, what we want to do is we want to duplicate what our previous conjecture said. So we want to make the alternate interior angles congruent and the alternate exterior angles congruent and the corresponding angles congruent. So to make this a little bit easier on ourselves, rather than rounding the decimal place to the hundredths place, we're going to change that. So to do that, go to Options, Point Capturing, and we're going to rounding, and we're going to change this to 0 decimal places, just so it's a little bit easier for us to make sure our angle measures are the same. And once we have that rounding to 0, go ahead and click and drag any of your points which that created your lines, so either A, B, C, or D, and you want to drag them until you see that the corresponding angles are congruent, the alternate interior angles are congruent, and the alternate exterior angles are congruent. So something that we want to figure out now is, because these angles are congruent, does that mean these lines are parallel? And although they may appear to look parallel, remember, we can't make assumptions based on what a diagram looks like. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to measure the slopes of these 2 lines. Something we will discover later in this class is that the slopes of parallel lines are actually congruent. They're the same. So we're going to go up to our slope tool, and we're going to click on line AB. And if you see, you've created this triangle, this right triangle here, and that's telling you the slope of this line. So the next thing you're going to do is go ahead and measure the slope of line CD and determine if those are the same. Because again, something we'll learn later in this class is if the slopes of the lines are the same, then those lines are parallel. At this point, you can complete your conjecture and finish your investigation.